Yo, what is going on, guys? It is HateFoo here, and welcome back to the second episode of How I Play HCF. This series is focused on showing you guys the strategies that I use on HCF to do what I do. I greatly appreciate you guys for clicking on this video, but if you could leave a like, I would literally love you forever, since the entire process to make this video took a long time. Also, subscribe to the channel. It's free, it doesn't hurt you, and you might enjoy some of my other content, so just do it. That's all for the intro though. Without further ado, let's get into this video. The most efficient way to find low DTR factions is with F-filter. By default, F-list is in order of factions with most members online to least members online. With the F-filter command, you're able to see factions with least to most members online, highest to lowest DTR, and the most useful, lowest to highest DTR. I set my filter on lowest to highest DTR, found a solo on 1 DTR, F-focused this faction to create a waypoint at his base, and started my way there. I came over to this base expecting only one person, but as I got there, not only did he log on another member who I would safely assume was in Bard, but someone had already ran in before me. I stepped aside to search for a new faction, but then... Pigeons. Pigeon is a term for dumb people like these three who had literally zero reason to go after me, especially since there was a faction right there that's 1 DTR. These type of people have no brain and are a huge headache to base raiders. There can be the casual pigeon who only chases you like 20 blocks, but then there are the premium ones who chase you non-stop until you have to stop taking them as a joke, like these guys. They're actually so weird. When I first get to a base, it's habit for me to check every time if there's a spleef or a sand trap. Now that I checked, I'll run in. At this point, I knew the guy had 2 members online, meaning there was most likely a Bard below giving him effects. Although he might have had a Bard, he was potting a lot, so I thought the Bard could have been out of range and he lost effects, so I decided to go all in. After making him raidable, I looked for an elevator to go up and look for the Bard, but I couldn't find one, so I had to make one myself. As I was gonna go up, what do you know? I went to go grab my loot, and this guy got a little freaky in my messages, but I ended up getting out of there before anybody could steal my raid. This faction of 3 members on 3 DTR had an oddly shaped entrance at their base, so I knew it had to be a trap, and I was right, it was a fence gate trap. This guy was conveniently standing in a spot where I estimated the pistons would end for the fence gate trap, so it was pretty obvious that he was standing at the button to pull the trap. I stood on the blocks and baited him to pull it. The trap wasn't even dug out, but he didn't notice because he was so focused on hitting me down. I purposely didn't focus the AFK because I knew I could always come back to kill him. But then I realized he actually came back. He was safely outside of his base now, and I knew by the time my F-stock worked, he would have already logged out, so I checked if they had any holes in their base, and sadly, they didn't. All I could do was start my F-stock and hope that he didn't log out. I threw a pearl right before it teleported me just in case he F-homed and I could time warp back, but as soon as I got out, he had logged out, so I F-homed myself. I felt so bad going to this base because I had already made this guy raidable recently on another map, but he basically asked for it by advertising in chat and he was letting in, so it ain't my fault. I grabbed his loot, and before I could even go loot his chests, What a weirdo, but I was not getting my loot stolen. Not today. I felt terrible, so I let him grab what he could, but then he went up the up sign for some reason and got himself killed. I mean, I tried helping him, but there's only so much that I can do. Before anybody else could come down and kill me, I F-homed. On the way to this base, I encountered the worst type of pigeons. The low DTR faction was literally outside of their base, and they decided to go for me instead. I didn't give him my reaction and focused on my goal, to make this duo on 2DTR raidable. I was more attentive on the pigeons that I didn't even check for a spleef. I was trapped. I went in F5 and I saw that I could possibly pearl in, and I made it. I think he could have heard me because as soon as he came in, he was ready to fight. In the back of my head, I knew that if I killed this guy, the other one would probably end up logging out, so I only meant to get him low, but he ended up quick dropping. I dropped the loot in a spot where the other guy could see it, and he'd feel tempted to go and grab it. The first guy I quick dropped came back and got greedy for the loot, so when he fell for it, I knew he was the one to focus. I was quite low on partner items back at my base, so instead of taking care of the other one, I went for the loot. Sadly, they didn't have much, so I went back down to kill the last guy. I went up to the main base and I was super shocked to see people stealing my raid. Luckily, they were nice people, and when I told them to let the raidable faction grab some loot so they could log out with it, they listened. This beacon appears when a faction goes raidable. Anyone who mines it 10 times receives 25% of the raidable faction's crystals for their own faction, which in this case, they had a total of 28. I stole 7 of their crystals and headed home. I don't even know, but this guy was a damn good DJ. It would have been such a vibe kill if I just started killing them, so I gave this duo a warning and a 5-second head start to their base. They ran, and I kept my word. They got into their base, but I knew they were willing to let me in. I pretended to be typing to his friend by staying still and looking at him, but in reality, I was holding A so I would get in if he opened the fence gates, which I'm not sure if he meant to let me in then and there. I tried my fake time warp trick, but he was more focused on potting. Well, not too focused though. I let his friend go because they were very nice people, but I wanted to see if they had any loot that was worth it for me. The guy asked me if I could give him a kit, and bro, I can't say no now, so I gave him my kit master. Not only that, but I gave him my own set, so the other guy had one as well, and gave them all my trust. I had no armor, but they didn't betray me, and luckily for me, we were far away, so it would take raid stealers some time to show up. If this video entertained you at all, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and it costs y'all nothing. Anyways, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day, and I'll see you soon with another video. Peace out.